So what frickin' number is this?
What, like how many have we done?
Yeah.
I don't know, 6, 5, 6.
Well, when people hear this, I did notice like one of the podcasts we did, I can't remember which one, but I heard the end of it. It was Howard Benson. He's like, "When's this coming out?" And of course, when we recorded it, it was probably September, and we're like, I don't know, October. So we have to be careful, like when we talk about stuff, because by the time they hear it, but who gives a shit?
We know better, man. We know better. We always used to do that. It's like we're gonna be doing this interview as though it's release day. And we're like, well, that's like 3 months from now, exactly. So let's pretend it's release day.
So what's in fucking 3 months? I don't know. May. It's Mother's Day, everybody. What'd you get your mom? Actually, I can talk about it. I'm knitting my mom a gift that was for last Mother's Day, and I've just been putting it off, and then I'm like, I'll save it for her birthday in October. And I kept telling her this, right? I got some for you, Mom, for your birthday. Then October comes, I'm like, Mom, Christmas present.
Because you started it, but you haven't finished it? Is that why?
It's one of those rugs, where you knit, and it makes like a horse face.
Yeah.
So Christmas comes and goes, and my mom, like a week ago, she's like, "Where's this gift you're making for me or something?" I'm like, "God damn it!"
Yeah, why did I have to say anything?
Mother's Day, baby.
You feel like it's okay to talk about it because you're like, your mom's not a big fan of the podcast.
She doesn't listen to this shit.
So she's not
I think it would be a celebrated comedic movie if you watch my mom trying to do stuff on her phone. I mean, it's just like out of a movie, like her with the Bluetooth, and you can hear her and like they're yelling and they're like, "It says it's working and it's not." I'm like, Mom, I'm trying to yell at her.
Why the slapstick comedy is so good for that like generation, right? Because it's actually true. That's their lives, just like slapstick comedy now.
Yeah. Well, it's true. As you get older, like it just becomes, I don't know, like it worries me. My mom was joking the other day. It's like, oh, like how many times she goes in another room and then it's like, what did I come in here for? I'm like, yeah. But you feel so good when you figured it out. That when you're getting old.
Yeah, the short-term memory. It's the short-term memory. It's like totally, it's strange. Because, you literally leave a room with the one intention, and then you get to where you're going, and you're like, what am I doing here? I did that the other day. I went in the garage. I'm like, what am I in the garage for? Paper towel. Yes, I need to roll a paper towel. That's what I came here for.
When did you figure it out? Because usually for me, it's full on. Leave the room, go sit down, start watching TV, and then you're like, and then you realize it. Like
it was pretty quick actually, because I mean, there's not that much going on in the garage. It's either I'm getting in the car or paper towel, I guess.
Oh, there's one more thing that's hiding in your garage.
What, my golf clubs?
No. Your throwing knives.
Oh yeah.
You have hidden throwing knives in your garage?
In all my rooms. Especially the kids' bedrooms.
Oh my God. What would you do if you walk up to kids that got a full broadsword?
I mean,
that's not how you hold the
proud.
hilt.
Yeah, I'd probably be pretty proud. No, they're not. It's too heavy. Yeah. I tried training them, so it's too early.
We got a big one coming up. See, I don't care. Like we're recording this. It's February. There you go.
It's Groundhog Day.
It is Groundhog Day.
Mm-hmm.
Punxsutawney Phil, right?
And even though every day has felt like Groundhog Day since March 1st of last year, it's now officially Groundhog Day. We just had to wait 11 months for it.
So do you know if he saw his shadow?
He did, and it's more winter.
6 more weeks?
He always does.
Of course. Well, yeah. Spring doesn't start till what? Is it March?
Well, ever since global warming was a thing, March. he's always getting more winter. And I'm like, he's a non-believer.
I mean, now it's just like, now it's 6 more weeks. Now it's 6 more months of quarantine. We see our shadows when we go outside our house.
Yeah.
Let's go back in. Another 6 months, no touring.
Punxsutawney Phil, he's a flat earther.
100%.
So
he doesn't. Yeah, Punxsutawney Phil probably doesn't believe in Australia. They're all actors over there. Someone's telling me we need to get a flat earther on this, but it'd be difficult because we would just have to, enjoy the theories and then enjoy his or her perspective.
I'm a pretty open person though. Like I love to hear people's stories and what they're into, and if somebody's into it and believes it, like I'm pretty quick to get on board. So I mean, a real flat earther could maybe get to me. Maybe I just could join on board. Be like, you know what, you're right.
Yeah,
right.
I could see you joining all that stuff one day.
I do like, I think for me it'd be more like the UFO or the Bigfoot. That would be, I'd be like right on board. The guy'd be like, yeah, and I looked out my window and there was Bigfoot, and I'd be like, well, I mean, there's the evidence. You just told us.
What else do you need to hear?
I mean, you sound really honest to me.
You're more of a Middle Earther, I think.
What does that mean?
Is it Middle Earth like, Lord of the Rings?
Lord of the Rings? Yeah, that's what I thought. Well, I know I don't stay up to terms. I didn't know if that was a real thing now.
Sounds more like D&D.
I'd be with that.
There's a big celebrity D&D match that goes on here in LA. I've never been invited, and I'm too low level. But who is it? Who's in it? It's like Tom Morello.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Joe, someone who's the hunky dude that's married to the chick off Modern Family.
I don't know. I'm the wrong person. You need Dean here for this. This is the thing Dean execute on. It's like, that guy is so-and-so.
6'4", 225. What? How do you know
he got his acting debut. What?
Yeah, I was Married with Children.
I could see Dean being one of the new hosts of Jeopardy one day, maybe.
Dean could probably win on Jeopardy, I think.
I think so.
Just like Groundhog's Day, Bill Murray, who knows all the answers beforehand, that's Dean on the bus. He's like, what is? Dean's like, no, he knows the answer. We're like, have you seen this one before? He's like, no.
I'm just full of useless information.
It's a bunch of dad stuff.
I picked Dean up a bottle of whiskey actually yesterday or the day before. Went by Chattanooga whiskey here in Chattanooga because they got some they brew some experimental stuff. So I went and picked Dean up a bottle, sent him a picture. I was pretty excited. I don't know how I'm going to get it to him yet, but it's like brandy barrel finished. Sounds amazing.
Well, he shipped me something. Same thing. He ordered some. I think it's a drum skin. I think it was some sort of thing autographed by the drummer from Blind Melon.
Oh, cool.
I could be making this shit up.
Well, he's an artist.
To me. Yes. Yeah, he's an artist. That's what it is. It's some art from the drummer. He sent it to me because it was in the States, so he didn't want to go across the border. He's like, I'll get a few when we go back on tour, is what he said.
So now you got
it's hanging on my wall.
100 G's worth of Dean's memorabilia that he's been ordering.
This is a Picasso that Dean got me. It's quite nice. No, don't touch it. Don't touch it.
It's actually still Dean's. I'm just holding it. What about that shirt you're wearing? What is that? Is that? Is that Ben's company?
Ben from Surf Monster. So Ben from Black Sun Cherry. He's got his own t-shirt company called Surf Monster. It's badass.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a nice shirt.
Dude. It's like a captain dude. They got a bunch of. I like the colors. I like colorful stuff.
I love Ben. He's always got so much stuff going on. He's got a charity that
he's got a foundation.
His dogs' names. Yeah, I'll donate $100 to it every now and again. I just because he posts something, on internet or on Instagram, and I'll be like, it just gets me at a good time. Like, all right, Ben, here we go.
That's what it is.
Henry and Clark Foundation. That's what it's called.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So check it out, Henry Clark. Maybe we'll slap that up as our. For our podcast, I write it down.
Write it down.
Yeah, Henry Clark. You only $100. I donated 100,000.
Oh, maybe I'll have to step up my game. That's pretty good.
You just don't care as much as I.
No wonder you got that shirt. 100 G's gets you a free shirt.
Well, I got the discount. The discount code was 420 boobs.
Love it. So good.
We were going to try it now. It doesn't work. Well, it's discontinued. I love it. We were talking before this about, as usual, tour stories, because sometimes we were talking about putting disclaimers up on our podcast because we will reiterate stories and be like, this story has been told before. We're going to do flash counts, like ding, ding, times.
That'd be the best.
The same story. There's one time we were doing this thing. It's like ding, ding. Yeah. So good. So we have to be careful because it's like there's so many stories, but the early days were the best because that's where we just went through. There's some pretty memorable. What's the word? Memorable. Memorable. Memorable better. Would be more like if you're deadly. Shows. Like how many restaurants did we play?
Also, like in the first couple of weeks, I think we played a few shows where I don't know if there was any fans there, like other than the opening band. We played a few shows like that really early on.
Zaphod Beatles in Ottawa was the first show. And why did we go all the way to Ottawa? Was for something else?
We did a week or something of shows in a week or two of shows in a van. I don't remember.
Zaphod Beatles is kind of like the Ottawa's version of what's that New York place that's gone?
CBGB's.
CBGB's kind of.
Yeah,
it's like a small little, small place. There's nobody there, not one. The only people there, the opening band. Remember? And they watched us play, and we watched them play, and that was the show. But we played in
call it paid rehearsal.
Paid rehearsal. That's what we used to call it. Hey guys, paid rehearsal. We played in a bank before. Same thing. There was like 10 people there or something. A lot of restaurants. I remember like one show. I think it was like at a Chili's or something or an IHOP, and they literally took the booths out of the corner to build the stage. And we couldn't have sound check because they hadn't built. They were still building the stage. The guy had like a cutoff saws, like 2x4s and stuff.
Canada was tricky because it was like there, for the size of band we were when we started playing and touring there wasn't a lot of already sort of pre-made venues that fit us. And so you end up playing like these bars and restaurant-y kind of things where cover bands and stuff might frequent. Not the funnest places to play because usually not great PA, not a lot of stage space. But man, you know what? The fans that you make from those shows, they're like the diehards, and they tell you every time. You'd see them like 15 years later, and they'd be like, "Man, I saw you at Zaphod's. I was the dishwasher. There was nobody there except for me washing dishes in the opening band." And you're like, "Oh yeah, I didn't know you were there. You were washing dishes. Awesome." And
seriously,
one person there.
Yeah, we do a show, and like we play a show, and then we jump off the front of the stage, and then just go hang out with the 7 people that showed up and like have a beer with them, go hang out with merch. And then our tour manager would come on. Hey guys, we sold 3 shirts tonight. We're like, hey, not bad. It's good old days, man. It humbles you because, now if I don't have bacon on catering or my masseuse doesn't show up, I refuse to.
Well, we started getting spoiled because we did like a few opening tours for Three Doors Down, and we would go out in between, right after our set, we'd run out to the merch booth, but we'd be playing for their fans. So all of a sudden there's a huge catalog of people to just play to. And then we would be signing for the whole 30 minutes between our set and Three Doors coming out. And it would be a steady flow. And those always felt good. It felt like, all right.
Yeah. We sold, I think we were selling more records on tour than we were in the stores when we first went out. I think we were selling 100 CDs plus a night. It was just nuts. And that was when it was like all like the local record store would actually, like FYE or something, would actually come out and like have like boxes of CDs. They're just like, holy crap.
So they loved it. Yeah, it was cool. It's a different time. You're making relationships with these people. We used to like go to Best Buy and do acoustic performances for like their office staff so that they would buy a bunch of
more
hard copies and put them in the shelves or better placement on the shelf.
That's right.
Hey man, seriously, you guys want to play 3 songs acoustic? We're like, we'll do 2. Well, if you do 3, they'll put you on the front,
on the end shelf. You get the end shelf at.
All right, we'll do 3. Well,
Minneapolis.
Since you're going to do 3, if you do 4.
It never stops.
No,
it's 9 a.m. We all go in there and we're all like, half of us are hungover. We're just like, and I'm just like, can't sing. I'm like, this sucks. But it was great. Like that's what we learned. You grinded, man. You grinded. Now that you're like, you miss those days, but at the same time, you're like, I'm glad we did all those because there's probably some bands that refuse. They're like, no, they don't do all that stuff. But yeah, we pretty much said yes to everything, didn't we? We're like, sure.
We did. Yeah, we were yes men.
We still kind of are. We still are kind of yes men. We're like, yeah, why not? Because I think we enjoy it. We actually secretly enjoy it.
We love it. That's why.
Not being people. I've never been a people person. Struggled a lot with being introverted, especially out on tour. Like I was never good with fans, never good with radio. And it was, you learn now, you become more of a people person and like you kind of enjoy it, making people smile and fans and stuff like that. It's exciting. You enjoy it.
Yeah, I agree. I am a people person, whatever.
You're a person people.
But but I do like the socializing, you know what I mean? I do like the hanging out with fans, and I always consider myself just like a music fan, and like people at concerts are my people. Like I go to concerts, like they're my people. So I love that part of it, the socializing, and definitely, when we play for nobody, that sucks.
Yeah.
I go to bed early on that night.
Yeah. But now you look back, you're like, yeah, but that was some badass times. Remember, first tour we ever did was a tour. First show we did, we got in a van, we drove to Camrose, Alberta, minivan, and we drove overnight. Remember? It was about a 12-hour drive. It was just me, the band, Fab, our tour manager, and then it was Dan Simpson, who was the tech. He did everything.
Yeah,
he set the whole stage up on his own. And we drove overnight, and I think Fab, our tour manager, drove for about an hour and started passing out. And you're like, I'll drive.
I was a driving machine. That was my job. I used to drive a service van, right? So I could handle the van, I was comfortable driving long hours. And I also didn't like how slow he was driving. I'm like, man, I will get us home. I will cut 2 hours off of that ETA, but let's go.
We were flying on the way home.
Yeah.
100 miles an hour flying.
Yeah, we flew.
But we drove there overnight, and then we got there so early in the morning, like it was like there was remember we just sat, it was like 6 in the morning.
Ghost town.
Ghost town. And we just sat backstage, and we had a dressing room, and we were the first band on the main stage, and for us, like that was just like, holy crap.
Main stage.
And the headliner was Tragically Hip. Did we tell a story before?
Yeah, we definitely did.
Really?
But probably. I mean, I remember telling the Tragically Hip story a few times, but who knows if we've done it on the podcast or not. But I do remember that we had those cap guns or something like that.
Yes.
And you guys are shooting off the cap guns, and the cop grabbed it. We had like the minivan with the side door open.
Slide the door over, and we were driving past all the fans leaving the festival. I was like, shooting cap.
Yeah. Oh, and then that cop
the window like a
stopped us, grabbed the gun, and whipped it into a cornfield. It was so hilarious.
He was
like,
so
get
angry.
out of our province.
Yeah. And then Fab's like, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Of course. And we were just like
40 clicks.
Yeah, we're just sliding in our seat.
Yeah, I love it.
Oh, it was amazing. Yeah. Get out of my province.
Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah. What a bunch of jerks.
You're just a bunch of kids, right? You're excited. You're up at 6 a.m. You're like, oh man, we're playing a big show today. Big show.
Yeah, we're on. When are you guys on? 12 hours. We're backstage already.
Yeah. Well, we were set to go on, at like 2 in the afternoon, but didn't go on until 2 a.m.
Yeah. It was so windy that they started pushing bands, and we got canceled. Of course, every other band played except for us.
Yeah, push to the beer
garden. We can play after Tragically Hip in the beer garden. So yeah,
which was awesome.
Which was there was a ton of people there. It was fun.
Instead of playing during the daytime, we got to play at nighttime, which I always tell people, like, rock and roll music thrives at night. Doesn't want to be out there in the day under the sunlight. Wants to be under the night.
Headlined.
Yeah, we closed the show.
Headlined.
The Hip. That was the night the Tragically Hip opened for us.
And they gave us their paycheck. They had to. They took ours. I'm sure we're getting probably $200 or something. Who knows?
Our guest today. Oh, look at that.
We both say the same thing.
Same wavelength. You take it.
Our guest today actually played with us since almost the beginning, right? Almost.
We did an early cross Canada tour with them, man, way back. Yeah, I would say it was 2000. Was it 2000? Was it our first record or our second record? I really don't recall. No,
I thought it was maybe our first. Maybe it was our second.
It's hard to remember.
Second. I don't know. That's how long we've been doing this. That's how long we've been doing it.
I saw something said instead of counting our years in age, we could count our years in levels. Sounds better.
That's right. Because, like I said, in Dungeons and Dragons, you would pretty much be killing dragons.
Yeah, you're like a level 25. That's, when you're 25 years old, that sounds awesome. But level 25 versus like level 40.
Yeah.
Level 40.
What is the max level?
Bad memory. Comes with some bad memory. Often repeat stories.
Where you're going to have to get a -2 on things like, wisdom. Well, wisdom, you get like a +5. And Constitution goes down. Every level you go up. My garden by the way.
I guess is Adam from 3 Days Grace and now Saint Asonia. And but of course back then it was 3 Days Grace we were touring with. Cross Canada.
The original lineup. I'm trying to think if they had. Did we play shows when it was only a 3-piece?
Yeah, that was it. Our first tour was them just a 3-piece. That's right. And then they brought Barry in. Yeah,
as another lead guitarist. Yeah, man. Yeah, it's crazy. And we played some of those places.
Yep.
That had I remember we played, I think, their hometown or something. And it was some pub, but the stage was this far off the ground, and then it was so small. There's no barricade or anything. It's literally it's just like going to a pub. And they put my mic stand on the floor. And so, of course, people were just gathered around it, and I'm singing into it. And, of course, someone just goes like this and smashes my mic into my teeth. And I'm like, oh.
Huge boom mic, right? So it's like.
Yeah. That's right. And just if you two of you guys can just stand on the mic stand and it won't fall over. But those are the days.
Sand, yep. Throw a sandbag on it.
Fiddler's Green.
Yep.
Another restaurant, pub.
One,
I'm in Ontario. You had to walk through the crowd to get to the.
You learn to start looking at the specs for these shows as they start coming in later on in your career. You're not just like, yeah, we'll do it. You're like, Fiddler's Green sounds familiar. What are the what's the specs on that? Well, it's a restaurant. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, we're out. Nope.
Well, the worst thing is what they do now is they all know this is they change the name.
Right.
Hey guys, I got this off from this place called
Green Fiddle.
Pavilion. Green Fiddle. And we're like, yeah. F Greens. The F Greens Pavilion or the something show place or you know what I mean? They put some name in there. It sounds like it's big. Event Center.
Event Center is a classic.
Fiddler Green's Event Center.
What was that first part?
Sounds huge.
Event Center.
Yeah. It's so we explained this Fiddler Green's Event Center, event arena.
They put a tent. Arena? They put a tent outside, right? So it's up the capacity by 38.
Yeah. Good times. Well, that's like that place. Where was it? Darren Schnurr come out, so it's in Atlanta.
Yeah.
What was the place that was like the old, where they had the weird elevator
Masquerade.
thing on rope? Masquerade. The old Masquerade. It was like an old haunted place that used to be some, I don't know, that coal mining place or something. Somewhere really weird. But the same thing they had across the street. I guess they bought this lawn. Remember we did a couple times, I think. Once with Stone Sour or something. We did same thing. They just do an outdoor venue.
Right.
and they can have like 2,500 people there. It was awesome.
We're just so jonesing for shows right now. It's amazing.
Yes.
It's so much fun to play a show.
We got to call tomorrow about touring, so we'll see what they say. We'll report back to you guys.
It'd be nice to actually have some good news and be able to say, like, it's going to happen, guys. We got a tour coming up.
We're actually going on it.
It's going to happen.
Yes.
I'm hopeful. Good. I'm starting to feel a little bit hopeful, like, regardless of when it comes, I'm ready for it. And I think it's going to make us all feel really appreciative.
I'm going to be humbled by this whole experience for at least 3 to 4 days before I become my old.
And then if there isn't bacon and catering, you're flying home.
If I don't get the almond milk unsweetened that I asked for, the only thing I asked for on the rider, if I don't get it, kids are going to roll. That's one of my superpowers. Is like I never ask for anything on the rider, and people are like, "Hey, can you get a couple extra bottles of whiskey? Get some extra beer tonight. We're gonna party." Oh, you got it. I'm like, "Hey, anyway, could get some honey for my tea." They're like, "You got it." I'm like, "Hey, where's the honey? Huh? Honey? Hey, I'll get you 5 bottles of Jack. Yeah. Where's the honey? There's no honey."
Well,
oh yeah, no,
you know what I asked about the honey, but. All the organic honey, we thought you wanted you specified organic. It was out.
You didn't specify which animal the honey's from. It's from bees. Oh yeah.
Okay, well we know that now.
No.
Definitely add it to the list for tomorrow.
Son of a bitch. These are
good
like, things
never mind, I will just go get it myself.
Let's ask Adam when we bring him on here. There's some good shit we can ask him about.
I'm sure he's got some superpowers. They must have superpowers, like feel like something just never goes right.
What is it? Let's find out. Let's get him on here.
Let's do it.
Our guest today is a singer-songwriter who was a founding member of the alternative rock band 3 Days Grace and Saint Asonia, which has 2 albums to date, their self-titled debut and the latest Flawed Design. He also founded his own label, Sludge Factory Records, in 2011. Please welcome our friend, Adam Gontier.
Hello. Woo. Hey. What's happening?
What's going on, man?
Not much, man. Yeah, living the dream, stuck at home, just like you guys, I guess. Just trying to make the best of it.
I see your breath. I mean, you must be in Canada.
I am. I'm a little bit north of Toronto, so yeah, it's a little chilly here. I have heat in the house, but I guess it doesn't show. Yeah.
Right before we got you on, we were reminiscing kind of about some of the touring we had done back in our early days in Canada, and some of the runs we did actually with you back in those days, and playing some of those venues in some small Ontario towns.
Yeah.
Any fond memories of getting like a microphone smashed in your teeth or anything like that?
I don't know. I don't recall, but I feel like you do.
Ty shared one right before we got you on here.
It was in Peterborough. I think it was in your hometown. We played some small little place.
Right.
It was us 2 bands, and it was just like, I remember it was like some sort of pub, because there was like a room in the back. I think they had a pool table or something.
Okay.
Everyone was hanging out, but the stage was like this high off the ground and was so small that they had to put the mic stands on the ground. And if there's no barricade, and people just come right up. And so I'm singing, and the people like right here, and then someone just did one of these into my mouth.
God
damn it!
Right. I remember. I don't remember it, but I think that might have been the Red Dog in Peterborough. I don't know for sure. Could have been another spot, but the Red Dog stage is a little bit higher than. I can't see them putting the mic stands on the floor, but hey, never know.
Was there a radio station that was walking distance or close by there?
Yeah, the Wolf. Everything is within distance.
Everything is walking distance.
Everything is walking distance. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. We went in there too. I remember that.
Yeah. The Wolf's still going these days. It's it used to be fully classic rock, and now they've kind of moved over, so they're new rock and that sort of thing. So that's cool.
So keeping busy down there. Have you been doing music. I follow you obviously on social media, so I see you've been hinting at some new stuff.
Yeah. We've been doing a lot of writing. I mean, that's all I've been able to do really, is just do some writing here, and we're just working remotely, sending ideas back and forth, and got quite a few songs together. So actually, I'm jumping on a call here in a few minutes to discuss what we're going to do with the songs that we finished. So hopefully the label and all that, they're into putting out some new music for us. So I think we're going to release an EP here shortly. Hopefully, it's the plan.
Is that the future? Maybe EPs? Because Dave has always been bugging for a while. He's like, why do we keep releasing full length, man? Let's go EPs. And I think we asked our label the last record, could we do an EP? And they said no. Really?
So, why is that? Any idea? I talk about that a lot with the guys in the band. It seems like that is, I mean, it doesn't really make a lot of sense to put a lot of money or more money into a full length.
You spend, if you record in like a studio, say you could be there for 30 days, 40 days to do a full album. And then, you might only actually release 2 or 3 singles. And you might be releasing your third single, I don't know, 16 months after the record came out. I love the idea that your music could be fresher to you because you put out 3 songs and you got to go tour it because of that. Something influenced you. You wrote 3 new songs while that was happening. You got back. The machine seems to me like there's not as much waiting. But then there's something to be said, I think, for that whole, when you do go away, people look forward to it. Would it get tiring? I don't know.
That's true. Yeah, that seems to be what the conclusion that we've come to, is that you'd probably end up just it constantly being out there, and oversaturating might not be so great,
Yeah.
But yeah, I have no idea.
It is hard. The business changes now so much. We just did a call today, and our manager said something like, back in the day, the music business didn't change for 10 years, and now it changes every 10 minutes. And I was like, it's really true. It seems like it's just happening in such a short period of time.
Yeah, things change for sure. It feels like when this pandemic's over and we're able to tour again, I think rock music is going to come back with a vengeance for sure. Hopefully that's sooner than later, though.
We were supposed to tour together.
We were.
I don't think you can even believe how excited we were to be on that tour.
Yeah, we were really stoked too.
You still playing any EA Sports NHL?
I haven't had much of a chance, but I do the odd time, like here and there.
On tours when I do. I mean, I don't do it at home.
Yeah.
When we get on tour, it's like
that's all there is to do.
I envisioned having some fun games.
We had a couple little back and forth chats on Instagram there about doing that. Yeah,
I haven't tried the new game. I think there's a new one coming out, or it just recently came out, a new EA NHL. So I'm going to be out of my chops are going to be rusty.
Is that 21 or would that be?
It must be 21.
Yeah. I don't know how it works now because the schedules I don't know. All I know is that the Leafs are winning the cup this year, and I'm fine with that.
They're looking good, man. I mean, they're first place.
They're looking good for sure.
But I'm curious.
Something to be said for those Canucks too. Those pesky Canucks.
It's fun to see actually the Canadian conference here, where all the Canadian teams, because in Canada you love to have a rivalry with everybody, and we loved the rivalry with the Leafs because it's kind of like it's the big city on the other side of the country, right? It's Vancouver. Yeah. So it always feels like that's the juicy rivalry that you want. But then of course the schedule's kind of changed. You don't see each other as much. Now it's fun because it's like I really want these Canadian rivalries to sort of be reborn and with some of these new players, and let them start to hate each other. For
sure, man. I think they're definitely rehashing a bunch of Canadian rivalries. I mean, it's going to happen playing each other 10 times. It'll happen. Yeah, we were looking forward to that tour a lot. We basically, since we put out Flawed Design, we played one show. Actually, if that was right before we put out the record. We played one show, and then that was it. We were supposed to go on that tour with you guys, and then that was it. So we haven't toured Flawed Design at all, and that was, we were stoked for that tour big time, and got shut down, and we were super bummed. But hopefully it happens.
It feels like we were just talking about this, where it feels like you're almost in between records, even though in a way we're not really. Like, we have a single out right now, and we if not for this, we'd be touring. We'd probably be in the midst of the cycle. But
right,
so this whole pause feels like you're in between everything. You're just in between cycles.
Mm-hmm.
That's because there's no response. You're not feeling you're not getting it back as much, I think, when you get to go play shows and do meet and greets. And
no, exactly. Yeah, we're sort of in limbo at the moment, because I don't really know if we're gonna, when we do go back out, if we're gonna be supporting Flawed Design, the last album, or if that's just sort of, it's like gone, like we did it and now it doesn't exist or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Another victim of COVID. Yeah. Good news about music nowadays, especially, is that, it doesn't go anywhere. I love the fact that, we've been doing this long enough now that we're starting to see, it shows, as you as well, as you're starting to get generations, right? So you have fans bring their kids that weren't alive when our first album came out, and so I always am so optimistic with music, because it's like, dude, it doesn't really matter, because in 10 years people can go and still stream a record that came out, or a Flawed Design that came out, and maybe they didn't get a chance to maybe listen to it because they didn't know, because they didn't see you live or whatever. But that's what I love. Yeah, very optimistic.
Yeah, no, me too. I definitely stay pretty positive about the whole thing. I mean, this time off has been, that's other than not being able to do what we love to do. I mean, it's been amazing to be home, because when we do go back out, that time that you're out there, it's a long time. So trying to enjoy the time at home, and it's been good for that reason anyway.
Yeah. I've been itching. I've been bugging the guys in the band. Can't really go into details, but I've been just itching to do something. So me and Dave got this podcast started, but there's some other things the band is working on outside of the band.
Awesome.
It's almost like to replace touring. Touring is such a huge part of our lives that it's like, I can't tour now, so I literally have no idea what to do with my life.
Yeah,
so
I know. Yeah,
do band like a business and say, okay, what can our business do? What can our business do to expand and grow?
Yeah, it's tough. We were doing some acoustic things online just for a while. Every Saturday, I think we were doing something, or every Friday we were doing something, and we did that for a while, and then we just stopped doing it. But I don't know why. It just, we were like, well, what more can we play? We've played kind of everything, and
can't do it forever.
Yeah. So and it's weird for us too, because Mike is in Connecticut, and the three of us, Cale, Cody, and myself, live here in Peterborough. So we're all here, but Mike lives in Connecticut, so crossing the border isn't going to happen. So that makes all that pretty tough. So yeah.
You guys have any touring superpowers? We talk about this, where we joke that I'm Acid Man. I don't know what it is. I'm just so toxic that I can just do guitar strings and stuff. And Joe, drummer, of course, his superpower is he can never get his food order correct.
Right. That's a good one.
That seems to always occur to anybody on tour, because that's something that's it's comical how frequently these things on tour seem to reoccur.
Well, I don't know. I did a funny thing. For years, when we toured, I put socks on the rider. I would throw my socks out. I don't know if you guys. I'm probably not the only one to do that, but it was every night. There's socks from the show up to the front garbage or whatever into the bin there. So maybe my superpower is it's a fresh pair of socks every day, like Sock Man or something.
That's
I don't know.
We just started.
That's pretty lame, eh? I'm Sock Man. Hey.
What's that fresh odor? Smell it before it gets there.
Yeah,
fresh smell of fruit socks.
we all joke because we'll have road socks, right? You get them on the rider. It's the big bag of Hanes, and sometimes you'll get them on the rider, and you open it up, and you're like, put it on as anklet, like the ankle socks.
Yeah. No good. No good.
God damn it. Yeah.
You need those invisible socks for your stage shoes.
Yeah.
So nobody sees.
To see my ankles.
That's right. Pom-poms on the back.
Yeah.
But we'll joke because we'll get home and then like Dean the bass player will send me a photo of like a sock with a hole in it. He's like, I need more socks. I need more tour bunk socks or whatever.
Gotta get on tour.
Well, it's good to know that. I figured that was a pretty common thing, but I never actually had that conversation with anybody before. And it was just something I always did. Like I didn't care about the rest of the guys. I just wanted my own 6-pack. So I ended up with like bins of socks.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I cared about other people's feet. Don't get me wrong. That's important. But I wasn't looking out for them. I needed
socks
fresh
became currency. They're like, man, I could really use a sock. You're like, well, what do you got?
Yeah.
Step into my office.
I'll take that last Fresca for that pair of socks.
Fresca. It's like currency in the apocalypse, right? Dave's obsessed with like bars of gold. Dave's like anywhere we fly.
See what happened with silver, baby? Silver's flying right now. I got so much.
I don't know. That's something.
It's ridiculous.
Right. I ended up buying some gold bars a long time ago. I'm not sure what happened to those. I should probably track them down.
Find them. I actually kind of did it. Oddly enough, from when I started living in the States, I would, instead of getting my per diems and just having a bunch of PDs and Canadian currency and then bringing it home, I would just buy a bar of gold at the end of the tour and then fly home with a bar of gold and put it in my safe. And I always love the idea of having this, I don't know,
tangible
physical conspiracy theorist.
Sure. I get that. Absolutely. It makes me wonder if we have, I don't think we've ever discussed it, nor have I discussed it with my financial manager, but we might have the same financial manager, which in turn might explain why we both were buying gold bars around the same time.
Might actually. We very well may.
Yeah. Who knows? I guess we have to talk about that at some other time.
I just love obviously I'm a D&D kid too. So gold pieces, silver pieces. I grew up with that shit.
Do you collect coins and stamps and stuff?
Not really, not stamps. Not really coins either. If I see something unusual, but I'm not good at collecting stuff. I got like Ziploc bags everywhere.
Right.
Oh yeah, that's really important.
You don't really strike me as the stamp collector type, really. Anyway, I don't know what that is, but
yeah, well, they're out there.
Yeah,
they're probably expensive. I mean, now I wish I kept all my old hockey cards when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I remember just opening that pack, and the gum was terrible. It had like the powder on it or something.
You open up the pack, and then you line them up against the wall.
Right.
Knockdowns,
and then you whipping.
Okay, these are baseball, but these are old Donruss baseball cards. But yeah, the hockey cards, of course. But I'm pretty sure this has a stick of gum in it.
Might have a King Griffey Jr. Ricky card.
King Griffey Sr. maybe. So what is that? You just keep that unopened? You don't even know what's in it?
I don't know what's in it. No, it came in something that I ordered. I'm not exactly sure what it was, but I thought it's kind of cool, an old pack of gum. But it's just sitting on my speaker here, so I'm not sure what's in it. I figure if I don't open it for another 50 years, it might be worth $3.
That's right. It's worth more in the package, right?
Yeah.
I got my kid some hockey cards from the year he was born, just like 10 packs, unopened. Let him open them up when he's like 20 or something like that, not before.
Right. I spent before I jumped on with you guys. I figured I'd let you know. I spent my afternoon putting together the Ecto-1 Playmobil and the Ghostbusters, the office or whatever. Yeah, their vehicle is pretty awesome. Lights up, and I don't know if you guys are into that stuff. But that's pretty much all I do. No, it's Playmobil. Playmobil.
Okay.
So yeah, a little bit easier for younger kids, the Playmobil stuff, but still pretty awesome. Yeah, very cool.
I'm a total kid at heart. All I do is we were actually, like I said, we had a call earlier, and it was a Zoom call, and I put the phone down, and I realized I was putting Legos together, and I'm like, I do. Pick up the phone, walk away. Just because there's a pile of Legos everywhere. So I'm like, let's start playing with some Legos. It's a nervous habit now. Play with Legos.
Right. Yeah. No, my kid's 3.5. So he's into Legos, but he's still just a tad small for most of the Legos, so I'm always putting them together for him,
It's a good age. It's a good age.
Yeah, I don't have any kids, but I'm assuming you guys both being dads, do you guys now use this opportunity to try to push your kids into a certain direction? Be like, you should, like Dave, you got your kid into Star Wars ASAP, right? Then you can kind of use that.
It totally backfired.
It backfired. It did, didn't it?
He watched it, and of course, my son likes villains, which is a little troubling.
Right.
He just started he was right into Vader's Force choke. He saw Vader Force choke, and then he was like, "Oh,
I gotta do that."
Choke. And I'm like, "All right, no more Star Wars. You gotta wait a little bit on this."
Right. It's tough to. It's hard for. I can never really figure out if he's too young for certain things that I
know
that I liked. Ghostbusters. I figured he'd be into that. I used to love that when I was a kid, and he loves it, but it also kind of scares him. Like, doesn't really scare him, but he just says the odd time, teeny bit scary.
Right.
I'm like, all right, yeah, I get it. So then
sometimes too scary.
Yeah. Too scary. I haven't really gotten him into too much of the stuff that I was into. I've tried on TV the odd thing like Mr. Dress Up. Didn't really last, but I haven't tried that recently. So
I tell my kids that I'm always like, man, you don't even understand the resource you have with me. I got so much information I'm going to share with you. Say stuff like that, right? And then he'll ask me something. I'll be like, I don't know. Well,
not sure.
Ask Siri. That's what he always says. Can you ask Siri? Yeah, I guess so. To figure it out. I'm not the source of all the information. I don't have it.
Right. Yeah.
It's better he finds out now.
So you guys have a new song. I heard it, newish single. Is that with 0936?
Yeah.
Or no? Is it? That's a great song. I've heard it a bunch, obviously on Octane or whatever, but it's awesome. It's really good. Yeah.
We are happy with getting that one out.
How did that come together, working with him and stuff? He's from Philly, is that right?
Yeah, he's a Philly rapper. Well, it's the same. It was an A&R thing. We were trying to figure out something with the song.
Yeah.
We wanted to release as a single, and I think Pete, our A&R guy, was like, well, I got a great idea to kind of spice it up, I guess. Kind of get a little bit of a cross promo thing going on there, and I guess they just signed this guy named 0936, who's he is badass.
Yeah,
it's crazy how talented these kids are. It's embarrassing. I seriously look at some of these kids, and I'm like, they're just already it's phenomenal. I love it.
Yeah.
Some people they almost feel like encroached, or they feel bitter seeing these young people. Like, come on, we've been doing this a long time, so it's cool. I almost look at these guys and go, man, what are they doing? How can I do that? That's kind of like what I'm doing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I've seen that some people get their back up over stuff like that, where but there's so much talent in a lot of new artists. It's pretty amazing. Yeah,
I like the featurings too. Like I've been saying this for so long that I love how hip hop and R&B and stuff, that always feature other artists, and it always seems so supportive to me, where I felt like that was never the case, as much the case with rock music. It didn't seem like everybody was featuring each other and trying to lift each other up. It always felt like it was competition more. And so I love seeing stuff where you can be, featuring other people. It's like it gives other artists credibility, and their fans are like, oh man, I love them. Well, I should check this person out. I love that stuff. I keep wanting us to do more of that stuff. And so that 0936, he was talented. I think he kind of blew all our minds when we heard his little rap that he put in, and his singing parts were just
right. Yeah, it seems like he's obviously super talented, really really good. His stuff, his songs that he's released on his own are really cool too. That Adrenaline track that I think he might have released first or whatever. That gets stuck in my head for days at a time.
What else are you hearing right now that you can share?
Well, to be honest, I mean, I don't really listen to much. It's weird. You guys probably know you're either, for the most part, I'm either trying to write some stuff or doing something else. I rarely listen to new stuff. And when I do, I've got satellite radio on in the car, so I'll be listening to Octane most of the time. So,
any palate cleansers? Me and Dave talk about palate cleansers. Like sometimes I'll go back and listen to the stuff I listened to that when I start getting into writing songs. Like I'll go back and listen to SCP or Soundgarden or something, and it almost feels like you're back when you were a kid. And I'm like, okay, do you do that? Do you ever do that?
Yeah, absolutely. I tend to do it with Pearl Jam quite often, but those Seattle bands, yeah, for sure. I just recently listened to Riot Act, that Pearl Jam record, Riot Act, and I never really in the past did I get too into it, and I listened back to it just a couple weeks ago, and it's such an amazing album, So yeah, I do that. I do that often, but usually Pearl Jam is that band because they've got so many different albums and just different styles throughout the years. Yeah, it's nice to just pick one of those records, listen to it front to back, especially if I do have a long drive or a couple hour drive or something like that.
Yeah. And there's your argument for the full length record right there.
Yeah. True. When you're driving, it's easier to listen to a full length album.
I still like, I got my vinyl collection at home, and I love to get the records on and listen to them front to back. I still think there's value in listening to music the way the artist gave it to you in a 10 song or 12 song order. I do like that.
Yep, absolutely. 100%. I just recently got a record player. I've had one in the past, but we just got one and set one up and pulled out some records from the basement and stuff. So we're doing that again. It's nice. It is
therapeutic in a weird way. It sounds like us too. You can't beat it. It's something just like comforting about that needle sound.
Yeah. Well, now you can just put that needle sound. You can just grab the plug in if you need it, right? Right.
Put more dust. Another reason too, like Dave and Dean, a lot more than me. Like when we're on the road, sitting in a hotel room all day, one of the guys would go out and search for a record store in whatever town, and then you find a little little hidden gem. Didn't you find something recently? I think you and.
One of my faves was the Traveling Wilburys. I found the Traveling Wilburys record.
Nice.
And I just walked into the record store, and like when I walked in, he like started the record, and I was like, "Is this the Wilburys?" And he's like, "He's like, I just cracked it, first play." I'm like, "Well, when you're done playing it, I want to buy it." And so we hung out, listened to it, the whole album in there while I was, thumbing through, and then he just put it away, and I bought it and walked it out of there.
That's great. That's a great album. I used to have that on tape. On cassette, yeah.
Oh, I do love cassettes too. I'm not going to lie. My Walkman was my salvation in high school.
Yeah, me too. I think "End of the Line" might be my song from that album. I think I love that tune.
To the end of the line.
Yeah,
the end of the line. Yep.
I like congratulations. That's all.
Who is that supposed to be? Is that your Tom Petty?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe I don't know the record well enough.
Bob Dylan, maybe.
Oh yeah, probably right.
That to me is like because I read stuff about Saint Asonia, and people will call you a super group, which and I think about the ultimate super group, and I think
the Wilburys,
Traveling Wilburys.
It's gotta be.
It's hard to beat that. Roy Orbison, Tom Petty, Bob Dylan,
George Harrison,
and a Beatle.
Yeah.
Beatle.
One more.
That's
one
solid.
More.
I said Jeff Lynne.
Oh, you said Jeff Lynne?
Yeah,
we always make fun of Jeff Lynne. Yeah, Jeff Lynne from ELO. We always make fun of him because you always see him in the videos, and they're all around the mic, and there's Jeff's trying to get in there, like Tom Petty's giving him an elbow.
He's probably the one with the least like personal success, but he's still had massive personal success with ELO, and I think he did so much for that record.
Oh, he wrote a bunch of Tom Petty stuff. He wrote a lot of Tom Petty songs.
Did he?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's probably that's the
You're kidding me? The acme,
epitome.
the echelon.
That's it. So many words. That's why you host the podcast and I don't.
Well, man, you've been on here about half an hour. We thank you so much for coming on. We should catch up, not even on a podcast, because seriously, it's we talk so much about bringing our friends on here, and it feels like we just saw them yesterday, and it's like, man. So we'll touch base and see once this is all over. We got to get on a tour together. We'll put something together.
Absolutely, man.
Do it.
Yeah, I hope we get back to normal-ish. You know, I'm not sure if things will ever really get back to normal, but yeah, I hope we can get back out on the road soon.
I'm at a point where I'm like, you know, we can have a guest who's a hockey player, and I'm like, man, we could just, when we get, you know, let's get back out on tour together. And he's like, I play hockey. I'm like, well, we'll fucking make it work, man. Let's
do it.
You play guitar? Let's do it. Get on the bus.
Right.
It'd be so good to just get back out on the road. But yeah, I definitely that summer tour we were all really looking forward to. It was going to be a lot of fun. So we, you know, maybe we can just do it again in the future.
Yeah, make that happen.
Move it
for sure.
Well, thanks, man.
Of course. Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
All right, man. We'll talk to you. We'll talk to you soon, dude. Take care.
Yeah, sounds good.
Peace.
You too.
It was so good to see Adam. It's just, you know, it's just like I said. It's just like seeing someone yesterday. It's just almost like
the time flies by, right? And all of a sudden you look down and it says like 27 minutes, and you're like, oh, we should really let him go. Oh, man, we've taken 30 minutes of his time. That's crazy. But it just was like catching up with an old pal. It's fun because you don't know what you even want to talk about. Talk a little bit about industry, a little bit about touring, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I love it.
Yeah. You know, and we don't know either. Like, you guys can tell us. Like, we don't know. Like, we could talk for 2 hours. I know some podcasts go on, but sometimes, I don't know. We are, this is all freaking.
We're winging it here, man. We're winging it.
Winging it. I like what was the song you were singing?
Congratulations.
And Adam both like, yeah.
It's a good one. It's a good one.
That's right. That was like the interview I did with Dean where, what's your favorite Beatles song? And I'm like, Magic.
It's like, well, I guess we'll accept that.
That haunts me, dude. Sucks too. Sucks because there's like so many great Beatles songs. I'm like, imagine you. I'm literally Adam Sandler from Punch Drunk Love.
Idiot. Yeah.
Yeah, where he drops her off at her apartment. He's like, bye-bye. And Lee's like, bye-bye, you fucking idiot piece of shit. Bye-bye. What in it's me. I'm like, imagine, you idiot. And people are like, what are you, stupid? Yes, I am.
Well, yeah.
You're smart.
Don't take it too hard.
I am dumb. You are handsome. I am not very good looking.
Yeah, I love it.
It's the Adam stuff. It's all Adam.
This is the Adam episode.
We should have done that. We should have done an Adam episode. So we do anything to do with Adam, which I don't know. That's all it's those two, pretty much.
We nailed it. So there it is. It's done. We did it.
But he's quite revered and as being one of the most fantastic rock voices.
So recognizable.
Yeah.
It's so recognizable.
Yeah.
We knew early on when we toured with them and they opened for us on that first tour, you know, sometimes you could tell, like you have a lot of bands open for you and you could tell which bands are just like, you know, playing in the garage and which bands are destined to just continue playing in the garage. And then you could see a band and you'd be like, man, there's something here. And they were that band for us. I remember early on thinking there's something to these guys.
Yeah. And you know, it's interesting too. Like, you watch a band too, and there is a certain amount of like, the word could be grace. I don't know what it is, but you watch a band on stage and it's almost like they belong there. You know what I mean? You watch bands on stage and they're trying too hard to be cool, or something just looks like they're uncomfortable. And then you see a band play and they're interacting with the audience and you're like, they just look like they've been doing this for 20 years. That was one thing I picked up on early with them, especially with Adam being a front man.
Yeah.
I was just like, he's definitely it just looks like he lives up there. And that's how I feel like with us. Like if anyone asked us, like, Do you get uncomfortable on stage? You feel nervous? It's like, I feel more at home on stage than anywhere else. Like doing weird live acoustic jams, I would probably be way more uncomfortable.
Right.
Put me on a stage with you guys, intros rolling, I just like a little kid. It's just like where I want to be.
I like to pretend I'm the only one out there just on stage, and like, you know, look at my feet. I don't like to see people looking at me, because then I feel like they're looking at me. If I don't think anybody's looking at me, I can really just be honest. You know, it's like, then you just get, it's like you're singing in the shower, right? You never, there's no inhibitions when you think you're the only one there.
That's right.
You're just doing it for you. So that's always kind of my thing. It's like, just get there. People say that too. It's like, just, you know, you're looking at your feet. I'm like, well, I don't want to see you guys. I'm sorry. I just pretend you're not there.
Well, do you ever get,
for your benefit?
Being the singer, sometimes I'll get like women that they do like, you know, they do make faces and stuff, and it can be a little, sometimes you're uncomfortable. Like, what?
Intimidating.
What's that? Yeah. And they're just like, you know, doing weird things or something. Kissy things.
Oh boy, I can't do it.
Anyways, this next one's called, I don't know. That's sweet though.
So good.
Well, Dave, that's another one under the wraps.
That wraps one up, and that's another one under the wraps.
Check out our merch store, bandmeetingpodcast.com. I think we threw up a hockey shirt. There's a hockey shirt up there.
We should shout out Sketch Bailey again, because he's just been he's been doing so many amazing band meeting with Tyler and Dave, different logos. He's done some up and coming holidays. He's already done some for that look amazing. So keep your eyes peeled for some new designs and stuff.
Yeah,
and check out Sketch Bailey's page. The guy's brilliant.
He's talented dude. Yeah, so go check out our socials. Make sure to give us a like, follow us on all streaming services, and leave us some comments. bandmeetingpodcast@gmail.com. You can email us and ask us some questions and tell us what we should do with this goddamn podcast, because we don't know.
Give us some direction.
That's it.
We're out.
Bye.